Trustees on May 10th, 2013 is now called to order. Dr. Kinman, would you lead us in the pledge this time?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I apologize for standing in front of you, but I'm short.
Okay, Dr. Kinman, roll call, please.
Yes, Trustee Sanchez,
Present.
Trustee Broughton,
Present.
Trustee O'Neill,
Present.
Trustee Stefan.
Present.
Okay. Board agenda, meeting agenda. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.2B2, the board may take action on items of business not appearing on the posted agenda upon a determination by a 2/3 vote of the board, or if less than 2/3 of the members are present, a unanimous vote of those present. That there is a need to take immediate action, that the need for action came to the attention of the local agency subsequent to the agenda being posted as specified. Are there any corrections to the agenda of the special meeting of May 10th, 2013? If none, the agenda is confirmed. We are going to convene to closed session when we return to open session at 10:30. Persons who wish to speak to the board on any item may do so at this time. There is a time limit of 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic, unless further time is granted by the board. Your comments will be timed, and you'll be asked to stop speaking when the timer sounds. Please understand the board welcomes your comments, but it is not able to respond to those comments. Normally, our public comments take place there, but today we have a different arrangement, so public comments will be using that microphone over there next to Mr. Dupre, and the timer is on the screen, and we will be asking you to please, when the timer sounds, to finish the sentence so that we're not stopping you right that second, but finish that thought and then step aside. Okay, thank you. Our first public comment person would be Ms. Jean Benson.
Good morning, President, Board of Trustees. I'm Jean Benson, Mayor Pro Tem from the City of Palm Desert, and I'm here this morning to speak on the behalf of Aurora Wilson for your vacancy on the Board of Trustees. I'm speaking personally, not for the city, but having and being on the council for 30 years. I've worked with Aurora on many regional projects. I know her knowledge of the community, of the area that you encompass, and I feel that that would be a great asset to the board. I also know in working with her that she is dedicated to the cause that she's working for. She has the interest of the students, the faculty, and the community in keeping and maintaining the College of the Desert as one of our premier assets. We've been involved with the college over the years, watch it very carefully, and very proud to have it as one of our major assets. Aurora would add with her vast knowledge of what she knows about the community, which I feel would be a great asset to the board. And her dedication to the students, to faculty, and to the community is unquestionable. So I would appreciate your strong consideration of her for your vacancy on the board. Thank you, and thank you all for what you do. I know you don't often get thanked. We don't on the council. You only get when it's bad, but you do a lot of good work, and we appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Benson. Next, Lee Moeller.
Good morning. I came at 9 o'clock this morning because the only letter that I had was something telling me that I was going to be, that I applied, and I had hoped I was going to be considered. And I'd like to volunteer at any time to help any of you for anything. I think I'm kind of hidden here in Palm Desert. I've lived here for over 50 years. I have one of the floor-to-ceiling homes designed by Overpeck, and I have his plans, and I'd hoped to donate it to the architectural committee of the school. The other thing I had hoped to be involved with was this mini College of the Desert, and I outlined the whole plan in my application, and I have one extra copy if anybody is interested. But basically, you need to get from Indiana University every year for 4 days in June. It's sold out. They have, and it brings the adult senior community onto the campus. The professors volunteer their time to give one lecture during that 4 days. You've got the McCallum Theater here. I had just hoped I could maybe be of some influence and help get that going. I'm still willing to volunteer to help do that. But it's so meaningful back there, and it's now sold out 2 months in advance. Your fee includes the tuition, the parking, the picnic fee, everything is, and I just think we could do something on a smaller scale here with the McCallum Theater that would be meaningful for the whole community of seniors to bring them on campus in a meaningful way. And I would love to have been taking one of those seats. I just had no idea that everybody wasn't considered here today. So, I mean, I guess we were considered, but I just never got any notice that, so I've been here since 9:30 when it said to be here. So thank you so much for all that you do. This college has been such a meaningful thing to the whole community, and what an asset to all of us. Years ago, I took computer classes here. You know, we've all been involved. Thank you again, and don't forget that street fair. What a blessing.
Thank you. Next, Letitia Villar, please.
Good morning, board members, staff. Pardon my attire, it's my day off today, so. I am here at the request of Supervisor John Benoit, who is not able to be here, but he asked that I read a letter on his behalf, if I may. Dear Mr. O'Neill, I would like to take this opportunity to personally recommend Aurora Wilson for appointment to the College of the Desert Board of Trustees, Trustee Area 4. Mrs. Wilson is very well qualified applicant whose talents and diversified experience in local government will clearly be of great benefit to College of the Desert. Over the last 22 years, Aurora has worked for the City of Cathedral City, the Regional Access Project Foundation, Supervisor Roy Wilson's office, and the Coachella Valley Association of Governments. She earned a master's degree in public administration from California State University, San Bernardino, Palm Desert campus. One of Ms. Wilson's greatest strengths is her ability to bring people together and to come up with innovative solutions to problems. Over her career, she has proven her ability to manage major projects utilizing state, local, and federal funding, and to implement programs that serve the Valley well. As a longtime friend and trusted associate, I am pleased to recommend Aurora Wilson for membership on the College of the Desert Board of Trustees. Sincerely, John J. Benoit. And if I may, submit this on his behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. And our last public comment, Glenn Miller.
Good afternoon, honorable board and staff. My name is Glenn Miller. I'm a council member and past mayor for the city of Indio. And I don't envy your pick here. Obviously, you have 4 very, very good choices, and that's great for not only the city of Indio, but the College of the Desert as a whole. And I'm speaking not for the city, I'm speaking for myself, and as a father of kids that came to College of the Desert and graduated from College of the Desert, and what an asset this college is to not only the Valley, but also to the new campus going into the city of Indio. And I'm here to speak on Aurora Wilson's behalf. I've known Ms. Wilson in many capacities, from her public service, not only to CVAG and the homeless community, but also throughout the Valley, helping out nonprofits and other organizations, and giving her time freely to make sure that we have a better community. And there's no better person that I can think of that would be able to take the values that she has, and I think this Valley has, and put them forward to make sure that the College of the Desert not only continues to grow, but that we can educate our kids in the best terms, basically forward, that this campus is what's going to grow our community, and then hopefully go on to the 4-year college. But these kids are our future. We need to invest in their future. The city of Indio, myself, are all on board to make sure that we can do whatever we can do to make sure that our kids get the best education. College of the Desert provides an excellent education, and I feel Aurora Wilson would be an excellent choice for you. And like I said, I have no qualms with any 4 of them. I think you're going to have a tough choice. And I thank you for all your service, and I hopefully, like I said, we can continue to move this Valley forward, because the children are our future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, that closes public comments. We are on to item number 7, consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be considered for approval by a single vote without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be pulled from the consent agenda to be discussed and considered separately in the action agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Student trustee Campbell, advisory vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion has carried. That takes us to the action agenda. And on the action agenda, we have one item, the appointment process to fill the vacant seat in trustee area 4. Do I have a motion to approve the process as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Student trustee Campbell, advisory vote.
Aye.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion has carried. Okay, that takes us into the process. And let me begin. First, let me begin by welcoming everyone at this table this morning. We thank you. We thank you very much for being here. We thank you for your interest in the college. I would like to add to that we also thank those many people who applied. I can say on behalf of the board that I think we were totally overwhelmed, and we are very pleased because it signifies to us the important role that the college does play in the community and the community's interest in the college. It was very, very rewarding. The amount of interest that was expressed to fill this vacant position in trustee area 4. We know that you have a great deal of interest on behalf of the students, the staff, and the community to represent the needs of the community as we move forward and take the college forward into bigger and better things. We want to make sure that all those people who did apply and everyone who has expressed an interest, we are keeping your names, and we will be looking to perhaps ask you to assist the college in other ways as we move forward into the future. Right now, I'd like to review the process, and it's a rather lengthy process, so please bear with us. The process will begin with each of you making a 4-minute opening statement presentation. We will begin with Dr. Lamar, moving across, and then after that is completed, we will begin the questioning period. There are 8 questions. They will be read by one of the board members. We will be starting with Student Trustee Campbell, who will read question number 1. We will begin question number 1 with Dr. Brown, so that Dr. Lamar began the opening, then Dr. Brown, and then for question number 3, Mr. McCabe, and so on, until we circle through, okay? We will only read the question once, but when we get to your turn to present, if you want the question reread, please ask, okay? You have had the questions for review this morning, so you have a chance to prepare your statements, but if you do need to have the question reread, please ask. When we have finished all of the questions, we will then go into the nominating process. In the nominating process, the student trustee does not participate. Each trustee will be have a written ballot where we will check off 2 names nominating 2 individuals. This will be tallied and projected up on the screen as a public vote. The goal here is to go from the 4 applicants down to 2 candidates. And we will keep nominating as many times as needed in order to get to 2 candidates. At that point, we will close the nominations and we'll move into the voting process. At that point, the student trustee does participate, and their vote is advisory only. Again, it will be a written vote, which will be projected up onto the screen. Our goal is to get at least 3 votes, a majority, hopefully 4, for 1 individual. We will keep voting until we get to that goal. Hopefully, we will be able to achieve that before Sunday. That's our plan. If we find we are having some problems, we may do some little other questions. So that's the general outline. As we get to each section, I will repeat that specific section's process. All right, and we are ready to begin, and we will begin with Dr. Lamar, and your 4-minute opening statement, please.
1 moment, please, while I reset the timer. Oh, she's strict. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, trustees, and thank you for considering me as an applicant. I would be honored to become a member of the Desert College Community District and represent College of the Desert because of my firm commitment and belief in the community college system. I'm a 4th-generation California. I have many family members who have gone through the community college system and have successfully graduated from a 4-year university, including my own son, who went here to College of the Desert and went over to Cal State San Bernardino and graduated in 4 years. COD has been instrumental in providing services to the community, whether it is post-secondary options for students from high school, or whether it's ESL classes for members of our community, or just recreational things that students want to take. COD has worked well with other entities here in the Valley. I'm a member of the Coachella Valley Economic Partnership Committee and help write the College and Career Readiness Plan. I currently work for the Palm Springs Unified School District. I oversee all of the career pathways and programs, and the linkages with the high schools and the community college and other business and industries is insurmountable to ensure that we have a diversified workforce in the future. I'm open-minded. I believe in education. I've worked in the public education system for 30 years, and I have a real desire to help improve this community. I believe that that the College of the Desert is the hub of the community, and I want to help to ensure that that is still the case. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Dr. Brown?
Thank you, President O'Neill, President Kinnaman, board members and staff. Appreciate the opportunity to be considered for this position. This is an exciting time for College of the Desert with its Measure B initiative, building developments going on and satellite campuses already up and going up. and a new president on board, and financial challenges from the state that are difficult, to say the least, to negotiate with. I think that at this time, the board would want a cooperative, team-oriented person like myself who has 32 years in education at almost every level, except I haven't taught elementary school, but I've taught middle school, high school, community college, and was a university professor for many years, both at Cal Poly and here at San Bernardino, before I retired just recently from the Palm Desert campus as the education programs director. My education, both at Stanford University and in management at Harvard University, in addition to the experience I've just outlined, I think prepares me well to make a contribution to the future challenges ahead of COD. And I think this is the dream factory for our valley and for both old and young students who have aspirations to either change careers or get a college education. It's an important time. I think I have the requisite background to work with you. And I'm a team-oriented guy, and to use my experience and expertise to really help you with your tasks ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. McCabe.
Good morning. My name is Mike McCabe, and I want to be your new appointed board member for the Board of Trustees of College of the Desert. Today I'm going to talk about my dedication and love for public education and College of the Desert. During my adult life, College of the Desert has been a very important part. I've been a student, an adjunct faculty member, and hopefully the newest member of the board. When I meet people I don't know, and they ask me, what have you done with your life, Mr. McCabe? I say, I've had the 3 best jobs in the world. Number 1, I worked 37 years for the Palm Springs Police Department. Number 2, I was a board member for Palm Springs Unified School District for 25 years. And I was a part-time instructor at College of the Desert for 27 years. That's a hard combination to beat. I've had a great profession, and I've accomplished a lot of my goals. When I decided not to run for re-election in Palm Springs Unified 7 years ago, I needed to step away for a while. But I can tell you I missed being a board member and being part of the important educational opportunities of young people. I want to join your family. You are really the second family that you have. I miss the camaraderie of the board. I miss being out in the community. I miss being an important part of the operation of a great district. Board member, 25 years. I was first elected back in 1979, my first election. There were 3 of us running, or exactly it was 3 of us elected. I was the second vote getter. And I served 25 years, 6 successful elections. The second, third, fourth, and fifth time I was the highest vote getter in the district. The last time we ran unopposed, which has never happened in the history of the Palm Springs Unified School District. 5 times the other board members elected me their president. On the board, I specialized in the budget and in human resources. Those are really the 2 most important aspects of any organization, because your budget is your blueprint and it's what drives your programs. Your people are the most important asset because they are the ones delivering the service. So having a sufficient budget and having sufficient and excellent people are 2 of the most important parts of any organization. How was I described by my other board members? Well, I'm going to quote them. I was described as a team player, a consensus builder, an excellent listener, a hard worker who has high standards and high ethics. I believe to be a successful elected official, you have to have a three-legged stool. And when you stand on that stool, that is the basis of getting elected. Number one, you have to have the credibility and the approval and of the voters and the community. That's the first leg of the stool. The second leg of the stool are the employees of the college. The third leg is the trust and confidence of the other board members and the management team of the district. I've been employed as a part-time instructor for College of the Desert for 27 years. I started off in 1976, and I taught in the Administration of Justice program, and I taught that famous class, traffic school. I'm sure some of you attended it one time or another. So I did that until 1993, when I had to resign because I was leaving to go back east for 4 months to attend the FBI Academy. Then I was rehired in 2003 by Clayton Mays, who was starting the Public Safety Academy. And I currently teach in the Public Safety Academy. I'm sorry I ran out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson?
Good morning. Thank you so very much for choosing me as one of your finalists for the board trustee vacancy. It is truly an honor to be here today. I know several of you and would like to thank you for your service on the board of trustees. It's not an easy job. I would also like to formally thank John Marmon for his service to the Desert Community College District. I've known John and his wife Madonna for many years and have a high regard for his dedication to College of the Desert. When the vacancy for this area opened up, I viewed this as an opportunity to marry my experience, education, and leadership with a community college district that means so much to me at so many levels. I'm a product of the community college, Mount San Jacinto. If it were not for Mount San Jacinto, I'm not sure where I'd be today. As a Hispanic, I had to convince my parents to go to college. But now I'm the first female in my family to have a college degree. And here I am before you today. College of the Desert has changed over the years from an institution providing the first 2 years of college education to morphing into a career in high-tech energy and environmental training ground with arms that embrace the entire Coachella Valley. I've been involved in regional government for 20 years. I've also been involved with many community-based organizations through my work with my present employer, the Coachella Valley Association of Governments. And I've also served as a volunteer board member on several of these organizations. And you all know the late great man that I was married to, who made COD his home for more than 30 years. I have championed several programs through CVAG that are associated with College of the Desert. The Landscape Ordinance Program, which is through your partnership in community education. And I assisted with obtaining the national accreditation of your child care center. The College of the Desert Foundation manages the Roy and Pat Wilson Memorial Scholarship Fund, which has helped students get an education here. And I'm on the board of the Friends of the College of the Desert Library. I know this room well, as we have our book sales here. All of the funds that we raise goes to the COD Library. My master's in public administration from Cal State San Bernardino was completed in the trailers that were located on this campus. I do not need a 101 on the Brown Act and how to conduct myself as an official. I know these rules well. I have overseen projects which involve millions of dollars, and I'm familiar with state, local, and federal resources. I'm a people person and have an accomplished record of bringing people and organizations to the table. Working together, we accomplish so much more. As far as I'm concerned, the Desert Community College District is the foundation which sustains the Coachella Valley. Imagine, like the movie It's a Wonderful Life, what life would be like without COD. But oversight of this district is not without its challenges. I am ready and would be honored to join the team and work side by side with you as a team player to assist COD and the Desert Community College District in addressing the present and planning for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. We will start the question phase, and as soon as the board is ready. All right. 2 minutes for the responses. We will ask each read the question once. If you do need to have it reread, please ask. We will begin the first question with Dr. Braun, and Student Trustee Campbell will read that first question.
Okay, thank you.
What is your understanding of the mission and purpose of the community of College of... I'm going to read that over. Apologize. What is your understanding of the mission and the purpose of the community of colleges in California?
Thank you, Andrew. Can you hear me? All right. The mission is to provide a quality educational opportunity for all members of the community of whatever age or educational objective, from entering freshmen who are beginning their pursuit of an academic degree to citizens who are looking for a change of career or an enhancement of their skills. And the purpose is to provide that kind of education in a quality and safe and sustaining environment. And with the overarching goal of putting all this in the context of a lifelong learning center where members of the community can see themselves as having opportunities for personal and community improvement that the college readily provides.
Mr. McKay?
Yes.
No, Mr.
Mr.
McKay.
McKay gets to answer this question, but if he needs it reread,
Please.
Do you need to
So the
read?
Andrew reads it again.
Do you need to read, Mr. McKay, do you need to reread? Yeah.
What is your understanding of the mission and the purpose of the community college in California?
My understanding is to provide a safe and secure, meaningful college education opportunity for all of the students who are successful in gaining admission, to work cooperatively with other agencies, to give all the students an opportunity for a college education, to work with stakeholders, to work with community groups as far as providing resources, working with the state to provide the sufficient financial resources, and basically doing everything you can to provide as many students as you can with a college education, and also sending more students on as far as going to their third year of a state university. Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Okay.
no, thank you, Andrew. I would have to agree with everything that has been said by Dr. Brown and by Mike. I don't know if you want me to repeat it all, but it is the very same. I guess what I would add to that is that it's important that the community colleges be a partner in the community. And that's where we need to work hardest, because you have to remember the economy rests on the Coachella, on these community colleges. There's so much training and so much education that goes on here, and people need to understand what an important role the community college plays in their community and how vital it is to the economic vitality of this area, or of any area where your community college located. It's such a critical point, and that needs to come across through the partnerships that the community college makes with its community, with the businesses, with private entrepreneurs. But clearly, I think the importance of partnership and making sure also that education is offered to all, no matter what race, young, old, disabled, there needs to be equitable opportunity for all. Thank you.
Dr. Lawrence.
Thank you. I too would also agree with everything that's already been said. And if I could just add one other item, it would be, I think it's the role of the community college to always be looking forward, to always have that foresight, to offer new programs that may be changing with the needs of our economy and the needs of our workforce. If one can have that vision and be able to share that vision, and as Aurora said, to work with the community partners, I want to applaud COD with working with the City of Palm Desert and the building of the Aquatic Center. I want to applaud them for having the foresight to build the Deke Center out in off of I-10. Those types of initiatives and foresight are very important as we have a declining budget in the state of California.
Okay. Now the second question. What do you see as the major issue facing community colleges in the next decade?
I think there's a couple of issues that we have to look at real closely. First one is funding. You guys have survived a earthquake of a lack of funding and kept your programs running and kept your programs with the excellence that they have. So funding is number one. Number two is your changing demographics. Your demographics of your students are changing, and you're going to need to change the way you do things based on those demographics. Number three, technology. Technology is changing so fast that the educational community has trouble keeping up with it and also finding a way to fund it. So technology is an issue. Staffing. A lot of your staffing are baby boomers. And so in the next 10 to 15 years, they're going to be moving out of the workforce, and you're going to have to find a way to recruit and to hire new experienced staff. And my last one is state and federal programs. The state and the feds are going to continue to pass legislation that's going to affect College of the Desert, and as a board, you're going to need to figure out different ways of how you're going to implement that legislation.
Well, I would again agree with everything that Mike has said. I would also add that we do have the Measure B bond, which was able to have so much building going on, but we need the money to hire the teachers to put in those classrooms. And I'm very concerned with regard to the state continuing to rob community college coffers to meet their budgets. And then also the cutting of potential programs that may impact community colleges. For example, the potential dismantling of adult education. What's going to happen with that? Once it's dismantled, does that come to the community college? And if so, does the funding come with it? And how much funding? So those are the kinds of issues that we need to think about, that I'm concerned about. Thank you.
Obviously, the declining budget from the state, I believe, is the number one issue. The College of the Desert is looking for ways to continue to provide the much-needed classes for high school students while still meeting the needs of the community and offering GED classes and ESL classes. I know that the transparency for student success, the goals for matriculation into a four-year college, those will continue to be challenges that the district will have to meet while there is a declining budget. It's also going to be a challenge probably to, as Mr. McCabe said, to meet the federal guidelines that are coming out in the legislative. I currently work with the state and federal budgets in the Palm Springs Unified School District, and I understand when mandates are sent down, they're sometimes difficult to implement. So developing the policies that will ensure financial stability will continue to be important.
While we hope that Governor Brown's recently passed initiative to improve the situation with schools and colleges funding will help us out, as my colleagues here have said, funding will continue to be a challenge nevertheless. I think we'll begin to see that when that initiative is fully in place, it will be what some of us might term a drop in a bucket. And it's something, but it's not the complete answer or the long-term solution. I think you've got some satellite campus completion issues, especially the one in Palm Springs. The one in Indio seems to be going up just fine, and the one down in Mecca is good. But funding and staffing for those satellite campuses will be work ahead. I think curriculum innovations will be something that our president and our deans and our instructors will be looking at most carefully as future needs in the workplace become obvious new directions for us. And in the area of technology, we often mention that this is an important area for us, and it is. But really, we need to dig into that rather deeply. There's good technology useful technology, useful online instruction, and then there are some low-quality things that we could avoid. So we really need to dig into that and see where we're going. Finally, our institutional research office could help us do some more for the college of being more and more a research-oriented center.
What is your understanding of the primary responsibilities of the board? And what would be your responsibility to the board as a trustee?
The primary responsibilities of the Board of Trustees is to make a policy, to establish community linkages and partnerships, and to monitor the performance of the college, and to ensure that it's meeting the needs of the community. So those would be, I believe, to be the primary responsibilities of the board. With respect to their second part of the question, I would have to say that my role would be to respect my colleagues, not direct staff, and critically to work as a team player and to remember that I'm one of 5. Be an ambassador in the community, to be out there always talking about College of the Desert and the Community College District, but also listening, not just talking. I also have to be aware of the changing needs of the community. And, for example, we have 2 incredible universities here. What is our role with those universities? How do we continue to evolve with those universities here? We have wonderful partnerships, but we also need to be changing because those universities are impacted by state budget cuts as well, and we need to keep that in mind as we continue our partnerships with areas such as that. Thank you.
An excellent answer, Ms. Wilson. I agree the board sets the policy and is a crucial link with the community. In addition to that, the board is really supportive of the CEO. The CEO is so instrumental in bringing about the climate change, and the board needs to support the CEO. As a board member, I would listen to the concerns of the community and try to be instrumental in helping to bring about the needs of the community, working as a team player, and understanding that sometimes I may have a minority opinion. And it's okay to have a diverse board. It's healthy to have a diverse board with many, many different views on subjects. Thank you.
The board, of course, hires and supports the chief executive officer of the campus and sets policy for the chief executive to implement. And while the chief executive is responsible for operational levels of college business, the board is responsible for looking at the assessment and success of programs and policies at the campus. And any individual board member's personal responsibility is to pull his or her weight in terms of doing the appropriate homework that will allow him or her to make a quality contribution to the analysis of issues that will come before the board, and to make, in concert with fellow board members, appropriately wise decisions regarding the issues that come before us and the policies that need to be set.
During my 25 years of experience as a board member, I learned that the number one responsibility of a board member is the hiring and evaluation of the president. Hiring a good president, an excellent president, is the number one responsibility, and evaluating that person is a very important responsibility. Also, the budget. You need to have input and approve the budget. Number 3, what you do in closed session as far as personnel items is an extremely important duty of the board. So agreeing with everything that's been said and adding that in, that is my interpretation of what the most important duties of a board member are.
In addition to the wonderful remarks that have been said already, the president and CEO has the responsibility to see that the decisions of the board are carried out. Manages the departments, and he works with the unions, and also serves as an ambassador. And certainly the financial framework is something that is very critical, that he or she continue to monitor. He works closely with the board.
Ms. Wilson, you already answered.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You already answered.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We haven't asked the next.
Do I get extra points?
Caught me. Okay. Are we ready? Question number 4. Please discuss your understanding of the differences between the roles of the Chief Executive Officer and other administrators and the role of the board.
Thank you. The CEO implements the board policies, the administrators oversee their areas of expertise, and the board monitors the performance. The CEO is the leader of the campus and sets the instructional tone. The board sets the direction and establishes the boundaries. It's very crucial that the board work as a team to ensure that all of these strategies are implemented.
The CEO is the academic leader of the campus and works with his vice presidents and deans to make sure that the quality education that our students deserve is in place. And the board monitors and interacts with the CEO, provides input and analysis, and looks at the president's assessment of how things are going. And so when it's a copacetic arrangement, it's still a team effort between the board and the CEO and the other administrators on campus, both in curricular issues, personnel issues, safety issues, construction issues, financial issues for sure. So it is a hopefully copacetic and cooperative arrangement where we're all working together at different levels to make things as good as they can be for our community.
It's been my experience that the president and the management team runs the day-to-day operations of the organization. They're the ones making the decisions about those types of matters. The board is to provide input in different areas to the CEO, to the board, to the school president, and to provide guidance to that individual. They're the representatives of the community. They're the ones that should be there for community input, and that input should be given to the president of the college to implement. You have your policies, you have your budget, you have your personnel issues. All those things are things that should be handled by the management team, and if it comes up to the board level, then the school president needs to bring those to the board for some type of decision. So it's a cooperative type of situation, and you kind of feel your way through it. You kind of get there, and you understand exactly what your role is. And you're the representative of the people. People want to know who you are, give you input, tell you what they think, and then you've got to bring that back to the board and bring that back to the president. Thank you.
Okay, so I was like really excited, so I'm sorry. So excited to be here. As everyone has already said, the president and CEO has the responsibility to see that the decisions of the board are carried out, that manages the departments and works with the unions, and also is an ambassador and oversees the financial framework. and works closely with the board to ensure that they are well informed on the issues so that we in turn can make well informed decisions. If I may just point out, Joel has a difficult job of balancing all of this and being out there in the community and keeping his ear to the ground and making sure that all of the issues that he hears when he's out there are brought back to the board and that we continue to remain informed. And I would like to compliment the board. He has done a fine job. I'm out there in the community, and I see Joel a lot. So he's done an excellent job of being out there in the community and getting to know the partners and the important and developing those partnerships that are so critical in keeping the community college framework together. Thank you.
Okay, I have question number 5, and I start with Dr. Brown. How would you respond to a concern from a student, a staff member, and a community member about any part of the college operation?
Thank you for your question. It depends, first of all, on the kind of complaint. If it comes from within and it is about statutory issues such as sexual harassment or etc., then it's the immediate responsibility of the individual hearing that complaint to bring it before the appropriate authority. Now, on other issues, board members do not act alone, but in concert with their colleagues. So our responsibility individually would be to listen to the complaint, to ask appropriate questions, to express to the complainant that we will bring this complaint to the appropriate set of folks and will provide some kind of response. And then I think it's board members' responsibility to really share this information with the board and with the appropriate administrative authority.
I agree with everything that Dr. Brown said. The 4 main complaints I received as a board member for Palm Springs Unified was, number 1, it's 2 weeks to band camp and we don't have a band director, and what are you going to do about it? Number 2, my daughter didn't make cheerleader. What are you going to do about it? Number 3, somebody in my son's class has head lice. What are you going to do about it? And number 4, there are dirty bathrooms at my daughter's school. What are you going to do about it? What you do is you listen to that person. People want to be listened to. They want to have their concerns heard. Then what you do is you tell that person that someone will get back to them, whether it be a member of the management team, an instructor, the president, whoever the appropriate person is, somebody will get back to them about this concern. People always want to go to the top. They want to go to the head person and tell their complaints to that person. You have to listen. You have to take into consideration. If there's public information that you can share with them that you have about the complaint, then share it with them. But you've got to make sure that someone gets back to them and somebody follows up on their complaint.
I would agree with that. I remember when my late husband, Roy, would be shopping in Vaughn's trying to pick up some milk, and somebody would come up to him and say, "What are you going to do about that pothole?" Just having him stand there and look at the person and after a long day's work, and to have the patience to stand there and talk with that person. That is certainly a very important role that we all have to play as elected officials. It comes with the territory. They elected us. We have to remind ourselves of that. I would listen as an elected and appointed official. I have that responsibility, and certainly out of respect for the person that's asking the question. It would not be appropriate for me to make any type of decision. I am one of 5, nor can I take it upon myself to do so. But what I would do is to make sure that the individual is referred to the proper person or to the proper department to have that concern addressed. Thank you.
I would agree. I think we all acknowledge that the most important thing to do is to listen. And I think anyone who has a concern wants to be sure that their concern is heard. The follow-up is very, very important. If someone has a concern, especially if it's the same concern, to know that the school or the college or the board is perhaps addressing that. It's important to try to put the concern to the lowest level possible. So for example, if it was about a course offering, I would refer the person to the counseling department or whoever was overseeing that. But again, it's just important to follow through with any concern, especially as an elected official.
If a board member feels strongly about a matter, but his or her position is not supported by the board, how should this trustee conduct him or herself?
Thank you. When I was a board member for Palm Springs Unified, I was an advocate for closing the campus at Palm Springs High School during lunch. An open campus presented all sorts of problems for students, for parents, and for school administrators. The other board members did not have that same view. I made the very best presentation and the very best arguments that I could. I did not receive any support in my position, so I moved on. You can be an advocate of something. You can be known for having an opinion about something, but if you don't get the support of your other board members, you need to move on. If it comes up again, you'd be an advocate for it. But once it's decided at the board table, you move on.
Having worked in local government for many years, I've seen the conduct of public officials, and I can tell you it is, there's a lot of learning process that goes on, and I've learned a lot. I certainly would air my concerns, but with respect, and certainly not bully my colleagues. I've seen that done in public meetings with elected officials, and it's not a pretty sight, nor do you get what you want. Seeing myself outnumbered, then I would try to see if there could be some meeting of the ways to have my concern addressed in a different way. That will be satisfactory to me as well as to others. So again, that's how I think I would, we are individuals, but we also are a team. And I think it's important that we be able to express our opinion, but at the same time, remember that we work together and that we do have to come to a consensus. But if our concerns can be addressed somehow and we respect each other, then that's the better for me. Thank you.
A strong board respects opinions by all members and should agree to listen with an open mind. There will be times when a minority opinion is not what drives a decision, but ultimately the board needs to remember that the goal is to serve all of the students. If I had a minority opinion, I would try to learn more about the reasons why the others didn't share the same opinion of me, but ultimately the board needs to be united and represent the college.
I once served on a local school board where back in the late 80s, HIV was still a more fearful issue than we've come to see it today. A serious issue and a serious problem. But I, as a board member, we had a young student who, a kindergartner, as a matter of fact, who acquired HIV because of a blood transfusion. And anyway, I was one board member who thought that he should attend school, and there were other board members who thought he was a danger to other students. And we had all kinds of medical testimony and et cetera. And I felt very strongly that he should attend. But I was outvoted, and while I felt very strongly that we had the medical evidence on our side, the community represented by my colleagues on the board simply were not ready for that particular move. And so I didn't scream and holler or pull my hair out. I went, acquiesced to the board's majority decision. That's an example of my answer to the question, which is a board member makes his or her best case, provides the evidence that he or she thinks is persuasive, and if it is not, then you must accept the decision of the majority of the board and move on.
Thank you so much. Please discuss your understanding of the relationship between the trustees on the board, faculty, staff, and the students of the institution.
Is that me? That's you. Oh, thank you. The trustees oversee the administrator and the staff. I've seen the organizational chart for this college. We are the policymakers, and we need to separate ourselves and be neutral. The president is the point person. Faculty and staff should be going to that person. And, it is difficult, especially when you have to look at areas such as layoffs and closing of classes. But again, we have to remember that we are appointed and elected, and we have to stay neutral and objective. And that is challenging at times. But again, the primary responsibility does go to the president. Thank you.
I think the relationship needs to work well, like a wheel that's going around, because the trustees set the policy, the administrators implement the policies, the faculty is teaching the students, and the students are ultimately taking the classes to help reach their ultimate goals. It's important for everyone to remember their role, and if they have questions, to go to the appropriate channels, but ultimately it's everyone needs to work together.
This question encompasses what I would consider a college family. And each of us family members have our areas of responsibility, and they should be clearly delineated for all concerned. And when issues of any kind arise, curricular, personnel, or whatever, the community family must be assured that the trustees are going to be fair-minded policy setters and ultimate arbitrators of such issues. But this is a family, and we each have our areas of responsibility from the students on up to us. And we work together, and I like the image used as a wheel. What we do as a board is assure the rest of our family that there is fair and equitable leadership at the head.
As a board member, there are things you can talk about, and there are things you can't talk about. As an example, if someone comes up and says, Mr. McCabe, what's going to be happening with the budget for College of the Desert next year? Well, I can give them an answer to that question, whether it be a student or another employee or someone in the community. But if they come up and say, what's happening with that teacher who assaulted a student? That's a question I can't answer because that's a personnel matter. So as a board member, you learn the things that are appropriate to comment on and the things that are not appropriate to comment on. I get asked questions all the time by students here at school. And I try to answer the majority of the questions that I can, but when they ask questions that are not appropriate or ask questions that are beyond my expertise at this point or beyond my knowledge, I can't answer them. And basically, I say, you need to go talk to this person or that person, and that person can get you your answer. So it's all circumstantial. So I agree with what everybody said, but that's my addition to that.
What are some of the major accomplishments of the district in the past few years, and what, if any, areas for improvement should the board address?
College of the Desert has had many accomplishments over the last few years. Passing the bond and getting the new buildings built is, I think, evident to most of the community members. Building the new campus and securing the land for the Palm Springs Center and then also out in Mecca. The valley is such a large area that it's really important to ensure that all areas of the valley are represented. The joint ventures that they've completed, and also foreseeing the future, as I said earlier about the Deke Center, and implementing new programs that will be important to all of us in the future. The other item that COD has accomplished is improving the collaboration with the K-12 system here in the Valley. Some of the areas I think that are going to need to be addressed is the transparency of student success, the information on the web page with what happens to the students after they go to COD. Do they matriculate? Do they enter the workforce? Learning how to capture that data. To continue to seek input from community on the campuses that are being built out at Palm Springs and out at Mecca, to address the concerns in the previous accreditation, which includes equitable services and the financing and the budget.
Thank you. I think it's no small accomplishment to have made a smooth transition to a new presidency for the college. That's an important step forward. It's important that you all have passed a going green set of policies. Not only have you succeeded in your Measure B bond building programs, but you placed them under an umbrella of environmental sustainability, which is exactly where a college like this should be leading these days in terms of building projects. I think you did a good job negotiating the economy downturn and still providing students with an education, although some classes have got crowded. I know you don't like that, but nevertheless, you've offered the classes and students are able to move forward with their goals. You've looked at special programs through your recent analysis and solved some problems in athletics and the criminal criminal studies program. I think you have begun to look at more and more the importance of technology and what we're going to do with technology and instruction. In terms of some challenges ahead, I think there are going to be some new collaborative opportunities for the college, especially now that the Palm Desert campus is going to be a 4-year university campus. There will be more opportunities for collaboration between the campuses.
I would agree with everything that's been said up to this point. If you look at public surveys, public opinion polls, College of the Desert has an excellent reputation in this valley and in the various communities. It is looked at as the gateway to success for so many of the young students that are graduating from high school and going on to college. I think there are several areas that you need to pay attention to as a board. The first one is the structure of the management team. I think the management team needs to have a structure, and the people need to be hired, and they need to be put in place, and they need to be functioning. I think the attendance situation that's been pending out there, I think that needs to be finalized, and I think you should know exactly what the penalties from the state are going to do to your budget, because that's going to impact your operation over the next several years. So we've got these great building programs, we've got technology, we've got all these wonderful things that are coming online, but you need to resolve those issues and also some long-term planning issues.
I would have to agree with everything that's been said. It's great being number 4. So, I would like to add, though, in terms of some great accomplishments, you have the national accreditation of the Child Care Center. That was major. That has really ratcheted up the quality of standard of care that's provided at that Child Care Center. You have a stellar public safety academy, top notch. Your nursing programs, the culinary arts school, the energy centers that we have. And, your other campuses, the Mecca campus, meeting the needs of the Eastern Coachella Valley by opening up a campus that is there is just truly looking at the future and the Eastern Coachella Valley meeting those needs. In terms of areas of improvement, transportation. Transportation continues to be a major challenge for students that come here and that go to the other places. We need to take a look at that. We need to sit down with Sunline Transit. I know we have, but we need to continue. We need to continue to work with our other elected officials as partners and see how we can address the challenges of transportation. We need to have more teachers. We've got wonderful buildings because of Measure B, but we need the teachers to put in them. So where do we get the funds for that? So we need to, that's another area that I would see as an area of improvement. Increasing the awareness of the College of the Desert to the community. Joel does an excellent job out there. But again, it's important. It's going back to what would the Coachella Valley be like without COD? Imagine that. We are the foundation of this community. And without it, I'm not sure where we would be. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We have concluded our question phase. What is the pleasure of the board with regard to a break or lunch, or what are any thoughts? How do you want to proceed? We have no idea how long the next phases will take. These ladies and gentlemen have been sitting here for quite some time.
Personal break as well.
Personal break, and then come
No, let's have a little lunch break.
a lunch break.
Because beach closes at 2. We need to get in under that
Okay.
with a firm starting time so that everybody knows
Are you
what.
comfortable with that? Trustee Sanchez? How about, it is now 5 to 12, how about if we take a recess until 12:30? And I need to caution that the board cannot have any interaction with the applicants in this break time, please, okay? So we'll go separate ways. So at 12:30, we will be back and we will commence with the nominating and then the voting process. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll recess. And just again, to review, the student trustee will not participate in this part of the process. Each of us will be given a slip of paper with your 4 names on. We will each nominate 2 of you. Anyone who does not receive 2 nominations will be eliminated from the process at that point, okay? So 1 or none, you are eliminated. The results will be tallied and posted on the board.
We're all such good candidates.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
our legal counsel notified me that he had a bit of an emergency. He'd be back within 5 or 10 minutes. I don't
Okay.
think that has any effect on proceeding.
I don't think so. No, thank you.
So we mark?
Yes, please.
That's hard.
Yes, it is.
Less than 1 minute, huh? good thing that I can say is that we're going to have an excellent meeting for this. Well, that's done. Next, we're going to have an excellent meeting.
Drum roll, huh?
We can hear a pin drop. Line problem.
Thank you, Dr. You want to do whatever you'd like. Thank you very much, Dr. Warren.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another nomination process, right? We have another nomination process. We're trying to get it from two candidates. Candidates. I think it's your wording, correct? Oh, I volunteered
Oh,
to
wow.
come out. This is really official. We like this. Maybe we can close the time that we have left.
applicants to candidates. We have two candidates for the position, Mr. McCabe and Ms. Wilson. And we will now vote. The student trustee will now participate in the voting process as an advisory vote. And his vote will be recorded first. We will each get one vote.
And it doesn't get any easier. And it gets no easier.
No, it's difficult when you have such outstanding applicants.
That's okay, we're good.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good candidate. Excellent.
Leanne?
Yep, is Leanne here, our trustee, our third trustee?
Please record Andrews first.
You just got to learn to speak up. So be careful when you speak up. Never found you to be quiet. That's why I'm speaking up.
At this point, we have a 2-2 tie. The student trustees' vote is only advisory. What is the pleasure of the board? Do you want to ask another question? The question we have is the following. Mr. McCabe, in the order we were, you would be first on this one. Very simple question. Tell us why we should select you.
The reason you should select me is that I have 25 years experience as a board member. I have lived in the community for over 40 years. I was employed by the Palm Springs Police Department for 37 years. I started off as a patrol officer and retired as a police captain. I worked every major division in the department. I attended the FBI Academy. I'm a graduate of the Post Command School. I was selected as Police Officer of the Year by my peers. I have worked at College of the Desert for 27 years as a part-time instructor. And I work with your future students each and every day as a guest/substitute teacher for the Desert Sands, Palm Springs, and Riverside County school districts. I have a master's degree in public management from Azusa Pacific College. I have ties in this community. Back to my school board experience, I've run 6 successful campaigns. I'm just not here to shop for a position. This is the only position that I have been interested in and have applied for during the time that I have been off the school board. I'm not trying to do it on anybody else's reputation. I'm just trying to do it on mine. I have an excellent reputation in the community. I have great credibility. I know the organization. I know the culture of the organization. So I think all of those make me an excellent candidate for this position, and I would seek your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCabe. Ms. Wilson.
I think I'm the best person for this position because I bring the knowledge and my work experience and my education to this board to serve as a team player, to work with you all. This is a very challenging position, but I believe because of my involvement in the community, the people, my connections with local government, my connections with the local community-based organizations really kind of opens up a new area that I can bring to the Board of Trustees. There are so many challenges out there that are awaiting us, and I just believe that with everything that I bring to you, my contacts, my relationships in the community, my experience in local government, having served as a director of the Regional Access Project Foundation, which is a major community funding foundation in the desert. You know, I'm really familiar with a lot of the needs in the eastern Coachella Valley, a lot of the unmet needs that still await this college that have to be addressed. So I believe that I with everything that comes with me, and I am proud to say that the person that I married to was a part of this college, and that is a part of my life. So I am proud to have that name behind me. And I just believe I will be a tremendous asset and am willing to work long hours and what it takes to represent this college in the community.
You notice nobody said they were coming for the money.
I'm glad to hear that. There's no money.
Oh, yeah, I know. I forgot to say
That's all. I just want you to notice that nobody said they were coming for
A
the
lot
money.
of work, though.
Oh, yeah.
About 40 hours a week.
You're right, Trustee Sanchez, you're
40
right.
hours.
We're used to it. Oh, okay.
I'm still kind of, the time I sit down, we'll be done, so I'll just wait.
Okay.
It's just us.
Oh, we have more time?
No.
Oh, okay, I thought we were timed on this.
No.
Oh, I
No.
was assuming that we were
You
being
got-
timed.
All trying to, it really doesn't make it any easier because we have two, actually we had
We have four
four
excellent
wonderful
candidates.
candidates.
Actually, we had more than that. All our candidates throughout the, I just want to be on record that thank you for applying. Every single person that applied, what a tremendous asset our Coachella Valley has, first of all. And I want to thank all of you that have applied as well. I know Chairman O'Neill said that, but I personally want to state that as well, and all of you. The tremendous backgrounds, the caring for our students, and it's thank you.
Another question. Bonus round.
Any bonus round? That's a good, who said that? That was good.
It's when the questions get tough.
That's right. You have 10. I have a question. We have questions.
That's a short straw here. Have you noticed it really got better?
Yeah, they said that. But we discussed rule 2.
You like tiebreakers, always having to make it fair thing. Well, I was after I got that question, number 8. It was like, oh, there's always this one question. What do you like about the fair? And I'm going to make it better. My 4A said that they would. Yes, both of them were kind of.
Yes. It's up to you. I think that would be good.
More than exhausted our option of questions, both lists, Mr. Dupre.
Too sure that you, too sure that I want to be fair.
This is
You're on the board.
that was the second list.
That's it. They all answer those. Right, that's what we're at. Okay, so I just want Bonnie to. I have no problem asking it. I do think they did, but it might be interesting to see if
Yeah, but Bonnie has to agree as a board. It's up to her.
They've all given input.
They have.
Oh, I gotta make the decision.
Yeah,
Is that
you're
how
right.
we're
No, no,
past
no,
the
but
buck?
That's called pass the buck down to Bonnie.
Bonnie, what
Okay.
is your opinion?
She's the one raising money today, so she.
No, I'm gonna ask this because we might get a different response, because it's asked a different way.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, and who starts with this? It would be
Ms. Wilson.
Ms. Wilson? Okay. Okay, this is the question. What is your understanding of the diverse backgrounds of the community college students we serve? Please consider the following factors: academic, socioeconomic, cultural, disability, and ethnicity.
Oh, heck no. I'm sorry, would you repeat?
Yeah, I'll repeat that, and I'll give you a couple minutes to think about it, I think, to be fair, okay? What is your understanding of the diverse backgrounds of the community college students we serve? Please consider the following factors: academic, socioeconomic, cultural, disability, and ethnicity. Got it on? A couple minutes, because that's kind of a biggie. Oh, now it's full, let's put it that way. I had to do it 3 times for
How long will you give them? 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Consistent.
So you're going to time out. Yeah. Fair.
Okay. What is your understanding of the diverse backgrounds of the community college students we serve? Please consider the following factors: academic, socioeconomic, cultural, disability, and ethnicity.
Well, in terms of the academic and socioeconomic, really the College of the Desert has really morphed into this kind of new training ground. Because of the economy and the economic downturn, a lot of people have had to come back to school who've lost their jobs, and they've had to retrain themselves and go into new positions. And so in order to do that, they have come back to COD to get more training. So I think that's a critical point with the types of students that are coming here. I believe the average age is like 27 years old. But even with that, I mean, you still have a large cross-section that are coming here for to retool themselves. And you also have a large technological training area where you have your public safety academy for people that are actually coming here to learn jobs. So there you have a significant portion of the population that is coming here for that. And of course, the largest population in terms of ethnic group is the Hispanic group. You have a large Hispanic population of students that come here, and as well as to the other campuses. So, I'm sure the Hispanic population is well served through this area, but again, that is a big portion of the population of students that do come here. In terms of the disabled, I apologize, I don't know the figures for that, but I can tell you that thanks to the work of people here, such as Board Member O'Neill, who've made every effort to make sure that the needs of the disabled are addressed on this campus as well as the other campuses, really provides then the opportunity to open up those doors to the disabled to make sure that their educational needs are met here as well. Thank you.
Every day, I see the future students of College in the Desert. My work in the various high schools here in the Valley gives me a great opportunity to talk to them, find out what their plans are, find out what their directions are. They face many, many challenges. They face the challenge of being able to afford college. That's the number one challenge. A lot of them have learning disabilities, so they face that challenge as far as going on to college. They have the challenge that their parents or maybe nobody in their family has attended college, and so they don't get a lot of support from the home as far as a need to attend college. For the students who actually get here that I see in my classes, they are very motivated, they are very directed, they are very goal-oriented. They want to get a good education. But I think there are challenges that stand in the current students' ways. I think that many of them don't have a career identified at this point. I think many of them are facing financial challenges. I think many of them are facing work challenges, trying to survive in our economy and go to school at the same time because they don't get a lot of support from home because their parents can't afford it. So I think those are the kind of challenges that are viewed and met and sometimes not met. And I think those are the kinds of programs that we have to have here at College of the Desert to assist those students. One of my big questions is you have to pass the CASI exam to graduate from high school. Most of the students pass that exam, but a lot of the students that don't pass the exam can't pass the entrance exam for College of the Desert. What is the difference between the two, and what are we doing as far as articulating that and coordinating that between the public school system and the community college system?
So everyone is aware of the process. If we are unable to reach a decision after numerous votes, then we may have to just adjourn and turn this over to the county for an election. So I wanted to understand what the next phase could possibly be at some point today.
Eventually, we would have to decide at what point.
That's our question, Danielson.
Right.
term after that.
But in this case, my understanding is that it's till October 2014, and then it'll be the regular cycle. Yeah. It's different. When you're talking about applying. Either way, but either of them can be. Okay. There's no wrong answer to that.
The questions are there. So I think that's,
Yeah.
All right, we have another question, and this might help us understand a little bit, maybe. And this time, you're back to being first.
Go ahead.
All right.
You can ask.
The question is, let me make it's a statement then followed by a question. This position is an appointment to fill the remaining year and few months of the current trustee position that was elected. This position ends in November of 2014, so it's a 1 year and 4 months, 5 months. The question is, given that, would you seek re-election for the position, and why?
Or would you not?
Or if not, and why?
Okay, let me go back to before this all happened. I was planning to run for the board in 14, and I had already talked to John about the fact that he was not going to run again. So I was already planning to do this. And I've had a lot of success. I've won every time that I've run an election. I have 5 people on my committee. I've already sent them an email, and the title of the email is, "I'm getting the band back together." And they've all agreed to help me as far as fundraising, as far as treasury, as far as chairmanship, all of that type of thing. So I was planning to do that even before this vacancy occurred. And so I'm very, very interested in this position. Yes, I'm going to run. I have a 6-0 record. I want to make it 7-0.
And your why would be, if I can...
My why would be because I miss being part of that family. I miss being an integral part of the education of young people and working towards their success. I miss being out in public and representing the board. I miss being part of your family, being part of the camaraderie, the give and take, the fun parts of being on the board, doing the budget, doing the personnel. Those are all my interests as far as why.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson.
Yes, I will run. Why? Because this college really means a lot to me in so many different ways, as I said in my introductory remarks. I've been involved with this college for a very long time, indirectly and also directly. I want to be more involved. You heard today from 3 representatives who know me well and who know my work in the community. They know what a dedicated servant I am and what a dedicated public servant I will be if I'm on this board. I work collaboratively. I don't work as one. I find and have learned that you can accomplish so much if you work together as a team. And that's what I will come with. You all have been through this. You have all run campaigns, so you know what it's like. And I have run a campaign. I have been there, and I'm ready to run again. I will have my people ready. But my ties to this college just really warrant me to be a part of this, to be even more, and to help work with this team to address the future of this community. Again, we are so important to this community, and I just feel with everything that I bring with me that I can be, that I want to share it with this board and help to bring College of the Desert, to be a part of bringing College of the Desert into the future. And so yes, I will run and I will win.
I think so too.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate your participation. And now we will swear in our new trustee.
Thank you all.
Good job.
That's too loud. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Michael, where do you want us?
Right there's good.
Right here? Ms. Wilson?
Michael, thank you. I want to personally congratulate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Carl. It's a pleasure. Hope to see you again. Thank you. You were certainly.
The board has to win all, but
Thank you.
Can I get a copy of?
You can have the whole thing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your support.
Bulging too much in my head.
Oh, no, thank you. Okay, there we go.
Michael, are you picking us up?
yes.
Okay. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations,
Thank you
trustees.
so much.
The rest of the trustees, come on up, please.
Sorry for the lack. That middle reservation part.
You're the tallest one? Yeah. Wait a minute now.
Okay, there you go.
Feel myself proud of that.
Good?
Yeah.
Thank
Good.
you, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to move you now. Could someone grab Ms. Wilson's form?
Can we
We're gonna
pick
put
how
you
we
right
want to
up here.
sit, Michael?
Because we're not done with our meeting yet.
Okay, all right, very good.
So we're going to sit you right here, okay?
Microphone, I don't think you do. Pass her down in the middle.
agenda. Okay.
Yeah, here.
Oh, I have it, thank you. The next item on the agenda is an information item, which is a cancellation of a contract. Dr. Kinnaman, that's your item, please.
Yes, thank you, Trustee O'Neill, and I'll do my liberties like I take liberty on these items sometimes and say first, congratulations to our newest trustee, Trustee Wilson. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
The contract cancellation, if you recall, in January, the board approved this contract, but subsequent to that, there was another approval by the board to enter into agreement with PPL, which is a professional leasing company, and we entered into a contract with them for the services of a consultant, and that was Don Burrs. And so this is showing that we actually voided the original contract that we had entered into in January, because our contract actually is with PPL, not directly with Mr. Burrs. And again, he is serving in a consultant capacity for the district. And so I just wanted to make sure that we cleaned up this record and brought it back so it'd be transparent that we had voided this original contract.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
President. Do we have a need to return to closed session?
No.
No?
First reading, so we went over every.
We did it. Okay, well then all we have to do is adjourn, and Mrs. Wilson, maybe we would like you to let you adjourn as the first official act.
One more thing, I just want to wish everyone here, all the mothers, a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, first of all.
Wow, that's my first action. I'd like to motion for an adjournment, or that we adjourn. Is that correct?
We stand adjourned until our regular meeting, which is Friday, 1 week from the day, the 17th, in this very room. Thank you.
Thank you very much.